Pregame.com.
We have the new #1 team in the country on possible upset alert on CBS Saturday afternoon. This is Brad Powers in Pregame.com studios just off the Vegas Strip. And indeed, we're talking SEC action on CBS. We got a good one. The new #1 team in the country, Georgia, hosting South Carolina.
Georgia has been an absolute juggernaut straight up and against the spread. Who do you like here?
What the hell? The new #1 team in the country. Let's go ahead and fade them here. We're taking South Carolina plus the 24.5. It's all about Georgia being in a possible flat spot here. They're coming off a blowout win over their arch rival Florida, a game they desperately wanted because they're breaking a long series losing streak. And oh yeah, what's on deck? Well, it's their biggest remaining regular season game on the road at Auburn, a game that might be pick 'em when that line comes out next week. And Georgia, if they're out to a big lead in the second half, might start peeking ahead to that big game next week. That's where South Carolina can come in with the back door. Give me the Gamecocks plus the 24.5.
Georgia head coach Kirby Smart might have some questionable motivation to run this one up and prefer not to do so, right?
Yeah, and I give credit to R.J. Bell. He preaches this one. It's all about when you're a big favorite, how motivated are you to get a big blowout win? I mean, it's not like Georgia needs style points here. They're already #1 in the country. And oh yeah, a little hidden factor here. The two head coaches, friends for 20 years. Heck, they were teammates back in their Georgia playing days 25 years ago. If he's going to run it up on anyone, I don't necessarily think it's his friend of 2 decades as far as Kirby Smart running up on Will Muschamp.
Georgia may be #1 in the polls. I know you got Alabama #1 in your ratings. Do you have Georgia #2?
I do not. I actually have #3. I would have Alabama favored on a neutral field by about a touchdown over Georgia. And then I'd have the Buckeyes favored maybe by about 2 points on a neutral over the Bulldogs.
I have to tell you, this has been a recurring theme here where we talk about Georgia, where we go ahead and make our selections, and then I get the text from my math wise guys, and Georgia grades out phenomenally in terms of just the gross yards per play, and they're like, what are you doing? How are you fading this team? They're so good. They did not like that you were fading this team earlier in the year when they were laying the 7.5, laying the 13.5, but the point spread tax has definitely grown on this team.
And let's break it down. I was against them, against Tennessee. Kudos to your math guys. Kudos to you. You said I was going to take one on the chin. I did, but that was 7.5 points against, facing Tennessee. And then last week, they're laying 13.5 against Florida. Well, I'll tell you what, I have South Carolina power rated higher than Florida, higher than Tennessee, and yet we got a 24.5 point spread. That's where I think I'm fading is the correct move here.
Yeah, and I love that. So from a perspective, we didn't need to take 7.5, we didn't need to take 13.5, but we do need to take 24.5 with the best of these 3 teams, a team that's better than Florida and that's better than Tennessee. Your second key handicap.
Second key handicap. Let's talk about this South Carolina team in their preferred underdog role here. 5-0 against the spread, the best underdog team in the country with 4 outright upset wins. They kind of take on the personality of their fiery head coach, where no task and no big point spread is insurmountable. They believe they'll probably go into the game thinking they can not only cover, but hell, pull the outright upset.
Now, bad news from the math guys once again here. They do not like this South Carolina team. It's a 6-2 team that is not winning the stats and should more than likely be more like 4-4, but the other circumstances dominate that, you think?
Yeah, and this is the second year in a row I'm seeing this from South Carolina. You look at the box scores, they don't add up. They should be losing more games than they should, but here's what I do see. They take care of business with the football. They have a quarterback in Jake Bentley, doesn't turn the football over, only 4 interceptions this season. They have a bend but don't break defense. Yes, they give up the yards and everything. When it comes and matters most, they don't give up points on the scoreboard. So it's a team that for 2 years straight has found a way to win games. And I take that over as, this is the personality of South Carolina.
I've been buying Georgia all year long, starting with the Notre Dame game. I agree. It's time to dump this baby. Let's make it official.
Yeah, let's make this official. We're taking South Carolina plus 24.5. Georgia, the new #1 team in the country. I think they're in a little bit of a flat spot here. They're off a big blowout win over their arch rival Florida. They had the biggest remaining regular season game on deck at Auburn. So if they get out to a big lead, they could be peeking ahead. And South Carolina, they're in their preferred underdog role, 5-0 against the spread this year, 4 outright upsets. I don't think they'll be too overly intimidated here. Take the Gamecocks plus the points. More videos at pregame.com.